to all the participants. And I, Dr. Ujjwal Sharma, I am the President of Integrated Association of Medical Basic and Social Scientists. On behalf of the whole organizing team from IAMBSS as well as Department of Biotechnology, Maharishi Markandeshwar University, Mullana, Ambala, I welcome you all the participants in this today's e-workshop on the e-content development. So this is a very important issue for the workshop. That's why we got a very huge response from all over India, and I am happy to share that we have more almost 400 participants which registered for this workshop for today. And these participants, they are not limited to only one state or one institute. These participants are ranging from North India state, from Jammu and Kashmir to the farthest south state, that is Kerala. So we have participants from Jammu and Kashmir to Kerala, and from the western state like Rajasthan and Gujarat to the eastern state, even at Sikkim. So I'm very happy that we got a very huge response for this workshop of today, and we have our international members also who joined us today for this workshop from the US as well as from the Thailand. So I welcome you all. We will just start and waiting for our today's special guest, which is the head department of biotechnology. So he might be having some trouble to connect. So he will be available with us in a few minutes. So then we will formally start, and in between, I would like to tell you something about this e-content development and what is the need. In my view, that the initially the e-content was not too much in the limelight, but when this Corona period comes, then most of us they learn about this e-content, and most of us they are getting aware about the e-content, not only even the school students but also at the university or the college students. So you can I can happy to share that in the today's participant we have participants who are a student or the PhD scholars, but not only those, but we have the participants who are at the level of teaching like professor, assistant professor, and even some of the HODs have also joined us today. So this shows that the topic of today's workshop is very interesting as well as informative. So I hope that you will all learn something after the e-workshop by our esteemed speaker of today, and we are very happy and very honored that he got time from his busy schedule to share his knowledge and experience with us. So in between, I will take this opportunity to introduce you with the today's speaker, and our today's resource person is respected Dr. Sushil Kumar, who is a Deputy Dean Publications at the Chitkara University, Punjab, and overall he managed all the publications and journals at Chitkara University. He is a manager of all the journals which are being published under the umbrella of Chitkara University. He is the ambassador of Cross Reference. Their Cross Reference is an official DOI registration agency of the International DOI Foundation. So we are all aware about the DOI, and he is the ambassador of that agency, which is an official registration agency. He not only has a contribution in this, but he is a member of European Association of Scientific Edition also. So he is a vast experience in the field of publications, e-content development, and holding such workshop and webinar. And we are very honored to have you here, sir, today. to share your knowledge and experience with our participants. So I think that now it's a time to see whether our guest has joined or not. Otherwise, we will start. Just give a moment and I will confirm. So I just confirmed that due to some technical issue, our today's guest is not able to join, and so I took this opportunity to invite our esteemed speaker of today's workshop, Dr. Sushil Kumar. Sir, I request you to take this session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ujjwal, for this opportunity and to share my experiences with all the members. Let me know first, the screen is visible and I am properly audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In between, I request all the participants to please mute yourself. If you have some question or query, you can type your query in the chat box. So I request all the participants to please mute yourself. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity where basically I will try to share my experiences. You uh, give the brief about my and I'm thankful to you that timely to organize such kind of activities. Actually, since the last 2 years, we are involved in the online education systems, and we are trying to understand on their own at platform and learning by their own and having their own experiences. So the point is actually whatever we are learning at our own platforms, so that the thing that is the beauty that we have to share with each other. So thank you first of all for this workshop and inviting to me here to share my views and my experiences to develop the e-content and what basically progress I have made personally along with other activities that you had mentioned, being a Deputy Dean of the Chitkara University Publications. So thank you once again. I just called it IAMBSS. I am boss. I am instead of IAMBSS, right? How basically I remember the association, I am boss. So I just skip O and I remember all these words and the beauty of this association. So how to remember this integrated association of medical basic and social scientist? The simple formula is IAMBOS and just remove O from there. So IAMBSS, that means Integrated Association of Medical Basic and Social Scientists. So thank you to organize it, and together it thankful to the Maharishi Markandeshwar University uh, to cope up with and managing all these things. So as Dr. Ujjwal mentioned, and all of you, some of you may be aware about to me, my activities, that myself is Dr. Sushil Kumar, Deputy Dean Chitkara University Publication, and Chitkara University Publication is a Platinum Open Access initiative of the Chitkara University. I will explain what is it means platinum and diamond. Sometimes people says diamond. So this is a diamond open access initiative of the Chitkara University. It is important actually to share my some activities with you in addition to the title of the today's discussion, where I will share my experiences. So what scientific and other activities basically in which I am involved, mainly the uh, point is related to the publishing, and I basically take care of 9 different journals. So I had learned many things. So from that point of view, I share my experiences, my views with all the scholarly community, knowledge society. So very recently, I had just shared my views with the Chitkara School of Mass Communication in terms of the content, e-content that was similar to uh, the program that you had organized today. And uh, some people actually may be aware that I did PhD in theoretical nuclear physics, and up to the 2012, I was a regular researcher. But nowadays, I had understand something different, and today I am not directly involved into the research publication. I am involved on the published research data. So that sometimes is called the bibliographic study, sometimes people say is scientometric studies. So what the benefits basically we can get from that, I am involved into that, and recently a talk is given. Uh, this is very recent talk at the Punjab University Chandigarh, where I had shared my views about to the journals management. So how basically I did interact with the editors of the Punjab University publications, and shared my views there. And here I had just finished one course that was taken on the Fakir Mohan University, Odisha, and it was basically run by from 7th February to the 28th February. And I had also learned a number of the things from the questions, and it is true that person basically always learn from the questions. I had shared my views being an editor, being a deputy manager of the Chitkara University Publications, and the first course I had taken in the Central University, Himachal Pradesh in 2021. Uh, as Dr. Ujjwal mentioned about to the ambassadorship of the CROSREF, similar to the European Association of Science Editors, you people will be happy to see that we are going to launch our this each chapter. Actually, the European Association of Science Editor is just going to start their Indian chapter here, right? Very soon. All the formality I have completed, and you will see a new chapter in India of the European Association of Science Editors, where we can provide the information, training, and in the information in many ways for the editors, for the reviewers, and research scholars. Right, and the two very important conference recently I have organized. One is basically being an organizing secretary into the Central University Himachal Pradesh, and second that is related to the publishing, right? And this was unique. Those who are attended this conference, they know that what basically run behind the curtain in the publishing world. So we people, we scholars just know about to the publications of the research, and there are many things that we should know. And recently I got the membership into the after this conference into the OSPA, and they basically include me in their group for the open science, and I basically advocate all the things related to the open science. And I had basically, this is the OSPA. OSPA is the world's largest association of the open access scholarly publishing association. And every year they organize the conference, and it is my basically pleasure to share my views and experience there to make it successful. So some highlights basically, why basically I'm sharing all these my recent activities in addition to the e-content, because I am the person of the physics, and I'm a teacher. and researcher, and I'm sharing all my views and experiences with the same people. You are also a researcher, professors on your universities and research scholars. So we have to not limit it only one area. We have to learn number of the things from that point of view. The purpose of this lecture, where I will share the first section that I'm involved in all these activities, along with other e-content development. So basically, when you learn something, it basically piecewise, it becomes a dot in the beginning. But at a certain stage, at a certain age, it all big dots basically becomes joined together, and then you realize, you observe the things, and that is useful for the society, and that is my purpose. So let's start the MOOC, Massive Open Online Courses. And here my purpose is that what is the need to create the e-content, and how one can create the e-content, what the technical part is in it when we create the e-content, like in the research publications. So we know about to the uh, licenses, we know about to the copyrights. Do we really understand about to the copyright into the e-content also? And what are the short things, the simple things by which we can create the online content in terms of the article, in terms of the videos, right? So which option is basically is best? All right. So these are some points that on that I will focus. So now, as I told you, let's start the MOOC, and this is the plan of my lecture. Open educational resources. This term is taken from the UNESCO. Uh, Actually, UNESCO had defined some recommendations for the open science, and open educational resources is one of them. And how basically they define what is the requirement further. And similarly, if we have to create the MOOC courses for the SWAYAM purpose, so what are the pre-planning requirements, right? So you can apply to the SWAYAM courses according to the your courses, to the NPTEL or to the UGC or to the UGC consortium, right? Or and other different nodal officers and nodal agencies, procedure and requirement. And then after I will discuss, that is the more important point, and I want to convey it in both the way, not only in e-content but in terms of the research also, how much basically these are important everywhere. And then after LMS, how you can create your learning management system, right? Simply called LMS. And all basically all the person, if I can create, I feel that everyone can create, right? That is the point. And at the last, obviously, the summary of this lecture. So if you have any question in between this lecture or this planning of where I'm sharing my views, my experiences with you all, you just type that question into the chat box or into the question, right? Earlier, basically, teacher was what they were doing. They were just trying to correlate the concept with the physical world, right? So suppose I'm the person of physics, so I have to explain something into the classroom. So what I was doing, I was just trying to correlate the concept of the physics with the outer world. And most of the time, good teachers basically, uh, in the absence of the technology, were doing this kind of practices. But now when we have all the technology and all the facilities and all open sources are available, then what is the requirement to make an analogy, right? Why do we need to implement that physical concept, that concept of the principle or law as it is in the real form? There is no need to provide the analogy. So here, this is the main point, and because of that, technology is useful. So most of the time you have seen that for the +1 +2 or for 10, 9, 10 for the children. Uh, Media basically enough type of resources are available for those students. But if you see for the UG and PG students, there is so very limited scope of the e-content. So it's our responsibility that we have to create the content for the UG and PG student in a proper way, in a systematic way, so the student basically can get the benefit. And still there are many problems that students, some of the discipline basically is not available on the swam and on the other platforms. So and also approaches to catch that platform. So this is the need, and because of that, we want to create online courses, right? And I hope that all the participants and the member here belongs to the UG and PG classes and section of that, as well as to the research scholar. They and useful for them, the need of it. So the question is here, as you can see, is it possible to teach all students with a common style of traditional teaching, like in the physical classroom, right? You have seen in the physical classroom what we are doing. My thinking process is different, right? When someone teach to me, similarly, it will be yours. When you are basically like this time, I'm sharing my views with you all. So how basically your internal process is working, that matters, and it is different for all, right? It is not necessary that by which ground, by which foundation I am sharing my views with you, that will be compatible with you, right? So what we are doing into the classroom actually, so in the classroom, this is a very famous picture, right? So what the teacher like us doing with the students, so in our classroom there are different mindset of the students, and we are providing the content only in one way. Earlier it was through the PPT and whiteboard, and then after we are taking the exam, and always exam have the same pattern. So I'm not going on that way because that is the different part of discussion. But the point here, the curiosity that raise in our minds and our mind, because this thing happened in my mind also, and because of that I had started to learn all these things, and it started around 2014. And since then I'm learning slowly all the things myself. So and I always in favor of academic freedom, right? Academic freedom is that if you are want to learn something, so you should be free to learn as per your pace. Not in the classroom. In our academic system is what that the exam will fix in one day. The teacher will teach all the content in one day to all the minds. So keeping all those points, actually, these educational resources, the theme basically, the idea basically has been developed, and it is called the academic freedom. So one basically had learned with their own pace. Challenges and solutions are in the classroom with and without technology. Everybody knows that about it, right? So, most of the teacher you have seen by this way, if the students are talkative and they are talking, so you can imagine and you can see this picture. So this is the person which is hidden, most of the teachers inside, right? So, but if we are subject expert, right? So it does not mean that we have to basically bring out this kind of orientation in our internal system, right? So this is one of the picture just to show you that in the traditional system, some of the teacher who are expert of a subject, they basically think in a different way, right, into the classroom. And there are many other teachers who thinks in a different way, right? So these are two pictures of the of the teachers, basically of our community. So we have to also understand this fact, right? So we are subject expert, right? So what we are basically giving, right now you have seen through the pictures only. If you will see this picture, what will go in your mind, right? uh, the flow of the thinking process, right? When you see this picture, and now see this picture, when you see this picture, the flow of your mind. So when you see this picture, does something happen in your mind? Does something fluctuate? If just imagine, if a teacher with this kind of face comes into the classroom, that what happens to the mind? Either they will irritate, or they will lose the interest. But if some face basically uh, appear in this way, so one can imagine the point. So the way basically we teach into the classroom in the traditional way, we have to change, and it change with the technology together, right? Like this, these days, everything is going on in the hybrid form. So something is going online, something is going into the classroom, but together it, if you know about the children, the 3 year children basically can easily handle the mobile phone. If you had put in some the picture or the cartoon or any video, they can find out from that folder easily. But when this COVID era started in 2019, teacher had basically faced the problem, but younger children, school children did not face any problem. So they were cope up with the technology. But again, what we are doing, we are basically trying to their mind on the classroom platform, where there is a teacher, there is a whiteboard. So we are not basically ready to include the technology in our teaching. So our children basically has been uh, completed in that way. They are aware about to the technology, they are aware about to the features of all that. So we deliver in terms of the definitions into the classroom, a formula, some principle, derivations, analysis of the data in terms of the image, some practical approaches into the labs and computer programming. So these are some points basically that can relate to your subject, whether you are belongs to the biotechnology, your biology, or medical sciences, or computer sciences, or the physics or sciences, the physical sciences, or like that. So what basically we are supporting sources for it, and what are these? So in basically in our daily life, when we are teaching, so nowadays what we are doing, in addition to the daily life example, which basically we are taking in the physical example of this physical world. So now people had started to learn something about to the technology, and now some people are using flowchart, 2 or 3 dimensional picture into the PPT, some animations and simulations people had started to use, and it is required into the teaching, right? Because the mind of the students, mind of the children are not basically are ready to accept only the PPT picture. Like this time I'm sharing all the information through the picture. Nothing is there except to the picture and except to the content. So there are two modes of the teaching. When we are teaching into the classroom, so this is my personal experience, and I had also observed. But when I realized all these things, so I had to start to change myself also. Nowadays, since last 2 years, I'm not into the classroom, and being a teacher, actually we always try to convey our messages, whatever I had learned, whatever we had learned. So we always share our views. So in the earlier phase, when we people are teaching into the classroom, so just imagine into the classroom, because there were only the students, no one can see to them into the classroom except to the children, and they were the king of the classroom. So it was on their behavior, on their mind environment, internal configuration of the thinking process of the teacher, how basically they are behaving into the classroom. But now when we switch on to the virtual mode, no teacher basically were ready to show this phase, the first one, right? still the students were talking and they were creating some noise, but no teacher was ready to bring out this kind of face into the online mode, because she was aware that not only the students, there are many people can see, and parents and other people, guardian can see to him and her. So they just control this type of emotions, and this was basically a change into the teaching era. So because of the virtual online teaching, teacher had also changed unconsciously their behavior into the classroom. So there are many technology are available, and here I have taken just an example of the virtual class, and uh, I hope it would be audible. So not only the PPT.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. So we're going to take you through a couple of interesting topics.
This is first statement, which basically every teacher basically speaks when they create the content, online content. Just listen.
Topics.
Just listen this statement.
Couple of interesting topics. Morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. So we're going to take you through a couple of interesting topics.
So here is the combination, fusion of the whiteboard, camera, and presentations. So how basically one can use that? No, PPT, camera, and the whiteboard together. So right now we are basically using the Zoom, and I am not able to contact directly, but when I will check the participants, only then I can contact. But there are some technology by which only you can basically contact direct to the person, and you can say and can ask the views. Right. So this is the first example that I had used into my classroom, being a teacher of physics when I was teaching atomic physics. So first of all, we have to understand about the atom. So how to explain the atom into the classroom, that is important, and for the physical picture, for each concept, for each content, have a physical picture. If you are able to create that physical picture in someone's mind, that time you are successful, then that time basically the concept becomes the clear. And it was the beauty of our traditional teachers, right? But here now we have the technology, and with the help of the technology we can provide the content as it is, right? Like in the below picture, below given picture, you can see the picture of the atom. So I have to show the picture of the atom as it exists, as it lies basically. Why do I need to create the analogy of that concept? So now we have to switch only on the actual picture of the concept, instead of giving the analogy, right? So that is the point, that is the purpose. So here one more example that I had used into the ledger, and I have to show here that these are three peoples, and these three peoples basically are into the ground state. So what is the configuration of their internal mind? So that matter. So internal mind state, basically I have to connect with the internal configuration of the atom, right? And when I have shown this picture, excited atom, people are same, but their internal configuration has been changed. Similarly, the atoms change their internal configuration. So just imagine, I was providing the analogy of the concept to the physics students. Now I have the picture, I have the technology, I can provide the exact picture, exact physical picture of the concept Right, like this one. This is a PN junction diode working, and here I have created a PPT, and in the PPT I have created a simulation, this animation, and with the help of animation, when electron hole fusion combination take place, some depletion layer create, and this idea was given through the PPT. So with the help of PPT, we can also provide the exact data. Purpose is what? Purpose is that we have to provide exact idea of the concept, not use the analogy of any concept. Provide all these things in the actual way, like they exist in the physical way, right? So this is the point. If you create the PowerPoint presentation, include the animation into that. So use the combination of PPT, video, animations, and some examples, so that curiosity remains in the mind of the students. Now the point, exact point. Why open online courses? Why do you need to create the online courses when there are so many people, when there are so many courses are available on the online? Then why do you need to create the same courses, same online courses on online, right? There is a purpose, right? First of all, as I had mentioned, that there is a one thing, and that is related to the open science, right? This open science basically cover number of the things, but I interfere in the two sections, and these sections are related to the open educational resources and open access publications. So these are two things where basically I am working. And here today I had focused on the open educational resources. So why do you need to create that, right? As per the UNESCO, these open educational resources cover basically three components of the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, which are simply called. One is number 4, 5, and 17. So if you will create the online content, so you will fill these three basically requirements of the SDGs, right? So these are the points. So for you, it will help your department, your institutions, when you create the open educational resources. But there are some points, there are some regulations by which you have to create, right? The online content. So how basically UNESCO define the open educational resources that include teaching, learning, and research materials in any medium, digital or otherwise, that reside in the public domain or have been released under an open license that permits no cost access. So first of all, you have to understand what is the meaning of it. When you are providing open educational resources, so what type of license? I will discuss about to the license in the next slide. So here you have to keep in your mind that there is a word idea that is related to the open science, open license, right? Open science is the main body, and there are many basically branches, and out of those branching, I have focused only the two. One is the open educational resources, and second is the open access publication. So today I am discussing with you, I am sharing my experiences with you with some technical facts about to the open educational resources. So one thing I was saying, sharing with you, that what you have to keep in your mind, open license, what is it means? And second thing, they are saying no cost access. Along with the no cost access, there should be no sign in like that. So without signing, one basically can read and download the content, right? That should be, if you are creating the video content on YouTube, so you should provide the open access license, right? CC BY license, Creative Commons license, that is simply known as CC BY license. So what are the features of that? That basically here are written, use, anyone can use that, adaptation and redistribution by others with no or limited restrictions. There should be no restrictions, like in subscription based journal, you see that there is a paywall. When you will pay the money, only then you can download the article, you can read the content. So there should be no any constraint on the your content. It should be freely available to all. Like this time I'm sharing my views with you, so I can share my this PPT video without any constraint, because all the content either I have taken from the sources, any other sources, like this slide, this idea is taken from the UNESCO, and I had learned many things from here and there. So that experience, that is the point. So we people, we knowledge society people have to share the content with each and everyone without any constraint. This is the first point. Now, so now you can see here different segment, and in this different segment you can see that scientific publication, open research data, open educational research, open source, open hardware, like all these things. So we had focused only on the open educational resources, right? And how basically we have to create the content, we have to keep in our mind these values and these principles: quality and integrity, collective benefit for all. Like we had destroyed, how basically we can provide the collective benefit to the knowledge society. If we are providing the open license, only then we can provide the benefit of our content, our knowledge to the knowledge society. Equity and fairness, diversity and inclusiveness, diversity in terms of the gender, right? It should not focus only on the male or female, right? Or it should be basically include all the factors, all the things, and same things here on the principle. Keeping these principle in mind, you have to create the online educational resources or your research publications. So transparency, scrutiny, critique, and reproducibility. I hope the content I am sharing with you, I had created once, but there are many minds in audience that can create in a better way this content. So how basically one content can be reproduced in a better way? That is the point. It is called reproducibility. So one can basically create content, can reproduce the content, right? Equality of opportunities in terms of the geography, in terms of the status, financial status or educational status, responsibility, respect, and accountability when you are creating the content, collaboration. You can create the content in terms of the collaboration, in terms of the include the other institution as well as the people, flexibility, in sustainability. These are some points. So now we comes on the points. These were some facts about to the UNESCO for the open educational resources, and it's very important because these are recommendations of the open of the UNESCO, and you should basically read about it, that what are the UNESCO recommendations for the open science and which segment basically you like, you can exist. So study accordingly. So here SWAM basically is providing all open content to all through the YouTube, right? And through their own nodal officers or websites, they manage all these things, and accordingly, right? And the full form of this SWAM is Study Webs of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds. It's a program initiative by Government of India and designed to achieve the three cardinal principles of education policy, that is access, equity, and quality. Right. So these are 8 national coordinators. One is AICT. So if your institutions belongs to the AICT, so you can ask AICT to create the content. And first of all, you have to check the courses available in each semester, and see the possibility if there is no courses available into that particular nodal zone, or in the according to the AICT, CEC, IGNOU, IAMB, NCRT, and iOS, and these are specified according to the subject. So if you have to create the content in terms of the technical way, so you have to approach NPTEL and AICT. And there, all IITs basically courses are available onto the NPTEL and AICT regional institutions, engineering institutions, and some humanity courses are available on their platform. But what you have to do, that point I was sharing with you, you have to check AICT website for the SWAM and check how many courses are available there and which courses basically you can create, which is not available there. Similarly, for the consortium of the this CEC, IGNOU for the open, and IIMB for the management and all the courses, NCRT for the +2 and all these, NOIOS for the open schools up to the +2, and NITTT are again the all type of resources of education. NPTEL, as I told, UGC, uh, some courses of the BSc, MSc of physical sciences or other sciences, you can see. So you have to approach the SWAM website, check their courses, and then after find out the possible course which you can create on your institution. So all these 8 basically are included into the 5 sections again. One is UGC, University Grant Commission. The subject basically they cover non-technology post-graduation degree programs, and managed by the InflipNet, I think. NPTEL basically cover technical engineering UG and PG degree program. Consortium of Educational Communication, CEC, non-technology undergraduation degree program. So if you belongs to the basic sciences courses and some humanity courses, so you can basically visit the CEC website, and similarly IGNOU for the diploma and certificate courses, CBSE, NCRT, and NIOS is for the school children. Responsibilities of subject matter expert, which is called SME. So when you create the content, actually, first of all, what you have to do to create the official MOOC course on the SWAM website, for the SWAM website. So first of all, you have to study the particular website, that course is available or not. If available, so what are the different points that you are sharing, which is not available earlier, right? So that point you note down, and when you apply to this person, to the concerned coordinator, only then it will be useful. So faculty representing the video should come compared for recording and speak slowly on recording, right? You might have seen that earlier into the NPTEL or CEC, those who are our senior teachers, our senior professors, subject expert, how basically they are people are creating the online courses. Their content basically, personally, that I feel there is only one person, and sometimes a video editor person manage the content and bring out the slides in front of that. So there is only one way. There is no animation, there is no video, there is no simulations type. So those factors actually are missing. So only the young generation, only the young people, only the young scholars, basically those who are enthusiastic, they basically are those who are ready to include all the technology in the courses. So that will be more useful, right? Because our senior people have some limitations to use the technology in a proper way. So right, and they are subject experts, so you learn from that about to the subject, learn from the technology from the other places, from the YouTube and other places, right? So I personally had created the mirror glass board at my home, right? What I did, I just there is a long story, but if you are interested, if you are curious to use the technology, you will create, definitely, I am sure. So what you have to do, you have to basically create the content in that way. So it include not only the PPT, it should include some animations, some PPTs with the videos, and some simulations where basically students can observe that. Right. So how to create the first 5 minutes video? First of all, you have to check your clothes. Like this time I'm wearing this check, cross check, white, like blue shirt. So avoid, try to avoid white and lining and cross type of shirts. Use dark color in when you create the video, and keep either keep black background or white background, it does not matter. But if you are creating the white background, then that time the light basically will reflect on the camera, and it will basically blur, and that type of reflection quality of the video basically will not be of that level which you want to create. So keep the dark background behind if you are using the only you and the slides. So wear a dark color clothes. Don't try to wear light color clothes and lining and check clothes. All right. So I will try to avoid that. Use 5 minutes, and in that 5 minutes, first of all, you have to write your script. That how basically you will provide the content. First of all, and just see. First of all, see that how many words you basically, when you complete, how much time you take to complete 250 words and like that. Suppose one sentence have 8 words and you are taking 10 seconds or 15 seconds. According to that, find out your script. Write your script. If you can speak within 5 minutes, 500 words or more than 500 words, it is your pace. But in the suggestion, they mention that you have to keep your pace slow as much as you can, but not like that. The people basically avoid the content. So pace should be of that speed, so people basically can understand the way you think you want to convey, right? So this is the point. One thing is related to the clothes. Second thing is related to the script, and try to include the technology, and try to make all these things in a systematic way, and repeat it. Most of the time what happens actually, there is a, when I had started to learn, and I visit a studio, I remember that that was the first time in 2014 when I had faced first time the camera, and you know that one camera is equivalent to the 1,000 people. So when you face the camera and big camera, right, then the time basically you becomes a little bit nervous. So what you have to do, you have to basically accept yourself first of all. This is a real story of mine. When I had seen first time my video, I was not satisfied with that. I have basically I was thinking, I had observed that the way I was basically speaking about a content, and sharing the thoughts, and the look about to me, all these things basically comes in our every mind, that how basically the person looks like, how basically he or she convey the message, how she basically speaks, how basically she pronounce the words, everything basically comes in the mind. So when you create your content, first of time, don't get hesitate or don't get depressed to see, to look all these things. Basically you have to accept yourself, and when you observe yourself, that this is the your unique way, right? You are unique. The appearance basically you cannot change. Today I cannot be a Amitabh Bachchan or Akshay Kumar. I am Sushil Kumar, right? I'm Sushil Kumar. I cannot change my face, I cannot change my physique, the way I speak, right? This is my own way, I have to accept it. And everyone, those who want to create the content, they have to accept accept this feature, that whatever whoever they are basically, they are unique. The way I speak, you cannot speak in that way. The way I look to you, you cannot basically create that type of look, right? So all these things are unique, and when you create the online content or video content, don't get depressed to see your video, your way of speaking, or your audio, your pronunciation. It basically takes time to improve. So just start. when I had started all these things in 2013-14, you just see my YouTube channel. There are some videos, and I did not stop there, because the way I speak, we are basically are not so much fluent into the English at that time, and it basically was a kind of hesitation to speak. So it takes time. So if you cannot speak, or if you have something in your mind about to the language, use that way in which you feel that you are you, right? And try to create the content for the society. You have unique information, remember it. You had learned many things. Now this is the opportunity, right, where you basically have to share the content with the knowledge society, so people basically can understand the things through your efforts and from other efforts. They have opportunity to interact number of the peoples together. They are habitual to see the videos, they are habitual to read through the mobile phones. So but in a short form, in a short blog form like Twitter, like Facebook, they don't like to read the full page, right? So it is basically some content you have to provide through the text, some content you have to provide through the oral presentation, through the PPT, or like that through the animation. That is the point, and it takes a time, right? So second suggestion to all of you, one thing, that why do we need to create the content? What is the requirement of that? For that, there are 8 nodal zones we have through this one, and according to your discipline, you can approach to them. But before that, my suggestion, my request to all the participants, all my dear friends, please just create to start your own content, and don't get hesitate to share it with your friends. Remember one thing, when you are sharing your content with the limited people, with a limited friend circle. Suppose you are sharing your content with 10 or 5 people. Remember always, not all 10 people will satisfy with that. But when you will provide this content to the millions people, then there will be a chance to basically to approach you, to find your content useful, 1,000 people, right? So remember this thing. Try to provide your content in a unique way, in a genuine way, in a transparent way, to the society, to the knowledge society. Right. So this is your responsibility. These are these things that I had provide to you. And here, purpose of the course, I had already mentioned all these points. Right, just write your script, whatever you want to teach in or, and then after summarize in your mind that you have to speak in that way, you have to discuss all these things, and you have to put here this picture, all these things you have to share. And now one thing, and that is very important, that is related to the copyright and license. When you first thing is that suppose you had only the video content, you had created only the video content, and you first of all you upload it on the YouTube. So on the YouTube, there are 2 type of licenses. One is the standard YouTube license, and second is the Creative Commons license. Creative Commons is the open license that is managed by the CC BY license. So when someone is using the CC BY license, then that time one can use that content as it is, can share on the other platform, can reproduce this content on their YouTube channel also. So your mind should be free of that level, right? There is no need to keep a foundation in the mind that this is my content and no one will use it, right? Because we people belongs to the knowledge society, and our purpose is to share the knowledge, so other people can grow, other people can basically start to think in that way. Only then our society, basically the human basically will grow. So when you are using the license into the YouTube channel, remember you have to use Creative Commons license, right? And then before it, when you are creating the content, when you are creating only the video content, like this time I'm available to in front to you, but together it the PPTs, right? So there may be a copyright content into this one. So we have to give the credit to that source first of all, and have to look that the content basically the source basically allow us to share the content or not, right? So because the earlier content which I am sharing with you, someone had created, and it is the digital property of that person, and I don't and it depends on the person to person that they are interested to share the knowledge or not. So what is copyright and what is the license? So this is section 14 of the Copyright Act 1957 of India. So according to it, actually, if you see, there are three things only. In this case, for the purpose of this act, copyright means the exclusive right subject to the provisions of this act to do or authorize the doing of any of the following acts, which basically number one, literary work, number two, dramatic work, number three, musical work. So these three are more important, and we basically belongs to the literary work. So all the literary work you have to see that is it belongs to a source that have basically allowed the copyright to according to the copyright share it or not. So what are those features basically according to the Copyright Act in this section? Number one, this allow to the person to reproduce the work in any material form, to issue copies of the work, like people basically use the photocopy of a book, but sometimes book publisher write that uh, all the content is copyrighted, so no one can basically share, no one can copy the content. So it is very important when someone basically define the copyright law in the resources, right? So when you are using someone picture, someone content, or someone video, basically check the rights of the person. The person basically allow you to use this content or not, to reproduce the content or not, to perform the work in public or not, to communicate it to the public or not. So some people basically hide the information. Some people basically try to keep the information with their own only. So that is the point. So to perform the work in public, it means copyright basically allow us to share the information with other people. And there is a teacher basically, and there are many other people basically who are not familiar with it. So one people basically can help in this purpose to make any translation of the work. Suppose this thing happened with the open educational resources as well as open access publications. So suppose I am writing my article in Hindi, and I want to translate the Hindi article into the English, Urdu, or any other Spanish language, French or German or Russian language. So does copyright allowed us or not? So we have to check it. So translation, adaptation as it is, or with all these six laws basically matters. So that included into the seventh one, that is the point. And now the license. There are 6, 7 licenses you can see here, and the most important, which is useful into the into this particular open educational resources, that is CC BY license. And this license lets other distribute, remix, adapt, and build upon your work, even commercially also, as long as they credit you for the original creation. That is the important point. Either you are taking the idea, or you are taking the content or anything from any source. So this is your responsibility to give the credit, right? Either you are writing that idea in your own language or as it is. So this is our responsibility to give the credit to the original source. That is the most important point. And here, most of the researchers basically facing the problem in terms of the similarity index, in terms of the plagiarism, because they are not aware about to the original source, and how basically they have to use the idea, how basically they have to give the credit to the source. So one thing is related to the copyright, and second is related to the license. And here CC BY license allow everything. There is no restrictions to use the content, even commercially also. Now, classroom past and present situation. Earlier, teacher was a facilitator, and now a teacher is instructions. So you can see that earlier our teacher basically was observing how the students are performing, where they are doing mistake, at what step they had mistake. So at that time, teacher basically providing the help to the students. But nowadays it is not possible, and teacher basically give the instructions, and as per the instructions, the students have to follow that thing. And with the time, basically, some technology has been developed, and here you can see the project. Earlier, that time we were using some plastic cover type, and of keeping on the projector head, and it appears on the screen. And then after a smart board and the dynamic PPTs. So digitalization had started slowly, but in the last 2 years, it had basically started at once. And supporting teaching tools, these are important. And uh, through the PowerPoint presentation, basically you can explain the concept only in two-dimensional way, right? Graphics pen tablet, basically it is required. And suppose I have to use a whiteboard, and so something happened. So second thing came, and now all the teachers basically have to keep with them this graphics pen tablet. Earlier, the uh, uh, designing people, those who create the dresses or creating something like that, they were using this graphics pen tablet. But since last 2 years, in this COVID era, people, teacher had basically, this was the most useful thing, hardware which you have to keep with you. And online board, OneNote, classroom presenter, lesson pad, bit paper, Epic Pen. Epic Pen basically what basically Epic Pen do. Epic through the help of Epic Pen, you basically can highlight any content on the website, also on the screen of the monitor, right? So that is OneNote is more useful, and I have frequently used it. Classroom presenter, I don't think is available or not. Lesson pad, I am using both. All these I am using on for the whiteboard. Animation and for the simulations, I frequently use. People frequently use this HTML5, and some website is available there. Java applets and videos, and to for the video. First of all the scholars or all the people, those who are available here, what they have to do to create the e-content. First of all, my suggestion, as I had mentioned earlier, you have to create your video, right? And for that, you can use the Screencast-O-Matic. Screencast-O-Matic, this is a software, and very easy and very simple. I will show it in the demonstration, and as well as OBS also. Uh, so through the OBS, actually what I can do, at one side I will sit, and on the other side you may have seen another video also. The person basically explain the things, and one can talk basically in a many way. Active Presenter is also a free software. So all these softwares are free actually, and through that you can edit, or you can basically create the good content of the video. Now the point is about to the polls everywhere. Suppose this time, because polls everywhere is a tool by which you can ask the question on the PPT, and only those people who have the access of it, they can give the response, right? But for the free purpose, only 40% can give the response. So use it for the objective questions if you are using PPT, and quiz in video if you have to use H5P plugin or the website, right? So these are some tool basically which I use and I'm using. And for the learning management system, I use different platforms. So it depends on you that which is more suitable to create the content. And that example I will show you here. This is all about to the presentation and all these things, simulations that I have already shown it. And graphics tablet, these are of two type. One is basically with display and second is with no display. So, people most of the time purchase either Wacom or XP Pan India, right? First of all, I had purchased it in Yuan in 2014. Right, at that time I had purchased all these things and used it in my videos. This is display and not useful for the teacher, and it is so much costly, so it will be better to use only non-display uh, uh, this hardware or this graphics tablet. And it is an example that I have used into the glass board. In this glass board, actually, now you can see that I'm using neon markers here, and I had basically shoot the video just in front of the glass, and then after flip the video to take its output. Right, so this is a glass board that I had used in 17, 18, near about to the 17 or 18, I had used this glass board. This is basically output of the graphics tablet that I was using at that time to teach. This is the output of the OBS studio. I will show you here a demo if you will allow me for all these things, basically how you can use the OBS and other things. And then after I use basically Edmodo for the online classroom instead of the Google Classroom. I use frequently it for all purpose. And this is my YouTube channel and many other things that I created here. This is H5P that I had shown you. You can create the questions, you can create the content. Microsoft OneNote that I am using it, output of that through the graphics tablet, and classroom presenter software. And some simulations website. If you belongs to the science stream, science discipline, then you have to use FAT simulations. FAT simulations is available on the in the application form, web application form also. And here you can see the physics, biology, chemistry, earth science, math. For any discipline, you can see the some simulations available here, and by using that simulations, actually students can learn number of the things. MOOC versus Spoke. So here massive open online course, some people talk about the small personal online courses, and these are basically available open accesses in terms of the open access. So what are most popular platform of the MOOCs? edX, Coursera, Udemy, Harvard Open Courses, the first platform to start all these open courseware. NPTEL, Yale Open Courses, YouPeople, Academic Earth, and our SWAM. Small private online courses that is called Spoke. How you can create? Like me, I had created my online courses. So these are small private online courses, means I can create my online courses. Some people, those who are interested, can join it, right? They can learn about the video, all the video. Actually, what happens on the YouTube? On the YouTube, you are not remain on a sequence, right? Most of the people I had observed. So one video you had created for this topic, second time you are creating a different, third time you are creating different. So it is very difficult to get all the video at one platform. But through the LMS, you can create, you can put all those videos related to a subject, related to a topic at a one platform. So this is the benefit. And the drawback of the YouTube is that people basically cannot get all the relevant information immediately at one platform. But through the website, you can create the content in a systematic way, and the student basically, the learner basically will get all the information at once, at one place. In a systematic way, you can create the video content, you can create the text content, you can create the quizzes, you can ask the question, you can reply the questions. So blogs and YouTube is very important. So how basically I had started the blog, and it is again my suggestion to all of you, please create your blog, please create your website, and don't create with the name of your, create with something related to your subject, related to your interest. Make a specific name of your website, right? Put all the content related to that. Start it and slowly it will grow. Today my website, if you will write up physics, it will appear. People, students, those who are basically searching the experiment viva, related to the experiment, physics experiment, or if suppose you want to observe this website will appear or not. So just write experiment viva, any physics experiment viva you can write, and you will see this website. So it grows with the time, not in 1 year, not in 2 years, it takes time, right? So you first thing is that you have to create your YouTube channel, you have to create your website, and on the website basically you have to learn about to the learning management system. You have to create your courses. Like this time about me, after the about me I had created the courses, right? And here all the courses basically you can see here. This is all about to the licenses. If you want to know more, because you people are researchers, right? You are involved into the publication, so it is must those who are basically are not aware about my activities. I always prefer to say, always prefer to suggest about to the Creative Commons license website, that please read all the licenses. What is the meaning of that? Understand it. It is must at the present time. So Creative Commons website you have to follow. And if you will allow me, because I had taken enough time, and my purpose was to share some courses that I had created here. This is my website, and here I had created some courses. So you can see some courses, online class master of optics, and like this I had created the courses, right? And in these courses I had suppose these courses. So in this course, you can see that how many, which category is this one, how many student has been enrolled, last updated this in 2020. Since then, I could not update all these things because related content is available. This is syllabus, and after the syllabus, you can see all this content like this. Vector and scalar. Suppose a student is interested to read this content, so all the information related to that chapter is available here. So now this is the video, and now when you will a student can watch the video, you can create the quiz here. Like this is the second chapter and this third chapter, like this, right? You, all these things are available here in a systematic way. So your content, your video content, student can watch here, they can read here all these things, and then after they can complete the course, you can ask the question, number of the things, question answer you can ask here. So to the students, those who are enrolled, those who are no, or student itself can ask the question from here. And this is hyperphysics website. If you will click it, and this is PhET simulations website, PHET Colorado, and I will show demonstration. So hyperphysics is important for all the physics people, those who are basically are another side of this session. So they can see here the content, how basically they are providing the content. So all these information are here, and you can see all the basic information here. This is PhET simulations, and to download the PhET simulations, you have to sign in. You can just click the chemistry simulations here. Polls everywhere, poll everywhere. Just note down and download it. Use it in your PPT. This is screencast-o-matic, right? This was hyperphysics. This is about to the okay. So let me take one example of the PhET simulations, and this is poll everywhere. This is all about to the screencast-o-matic. So if suppose I have to record the video, so now I had start it. from here if I have to edit it. So all these things basically are available here. So e-content, this is all about to the, so this is related to the fat simulations. One example, so you people can use all these. This is introduction. This is about to the law, and you can reduce the width. You can use the stopwatch. You can collision counter. All these things basically you can use. So particles you can add heavy or like that. Here, this is the starting point. So how basically the pressure, right? So you can pump. So this type of information is available. And now when I'm pumping here, so what is happening is something change into the pressure. You can see the clock, you can see the temperature, is something change into the pressure. Right. So now you can increase the pressure, and then after what happens, something change into the temperature or in pressure, there is no change. Right. So all these types. Now what I'm doing, I'm just I'm using oven, and now you can see the pressure and this thing. So the all these information basically are available free of cost, and this is basically known as fat simulations. So this is most useful for all of us to demonstrate the idea, to show the idea to our children, our students about the many concepts you can find out here, right? So now the point basically, Ujjwal sir, now the time is for questioning or any other things that you people like.
Thank you so much, sir. And we are very much enriched with the shower of your knowledge and experience that you bestow on us today. If we have any questions from the audience, we can take few questions. You can write down your question in the chat box if you have, or otherwise you can mail us our questions that we can later on address all the questions on the email also.
Yes, that will be far better.
Yes, now I take this opportunity to invite the guest of today and the convener of this workshop, Professor Anil Sharma, who is head Department of Biotechnology at Maharishi Markandeshwar University, Mullana, to say few words on this occasion. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Ujjwal. A very good afternoon to each and everyone. And I am extremely thankful to Professor Sushil Kumar, who is the Deputy Dean of the Chetkara University Publications Bureau. Sir, you have very elegantly described how to go about e-learning process, how to create the content, how to develop the content, and how to be, what are the key responsibilities of the subject matter expert. I think this was one of the best talk I have ever seen, where you have covered each and every aspect regarding e-learning and how to go about it. There were few constraints actually. Many faculty used to question, okay, sir, how to develop this content and what are the constraints. So all of them, I think I truly anticipate that they are clear by now. And as we know that this is an era of e-content delivery also, and simultaneously we are into accreditations also, and where they expect that we should have a content, we should have a curriculum which is based on Bloom's taxonomy, which covers many elements like knowledge, comprehension of the subject, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation as well. So keeping all those things in mind, I think this developing an e-course like Sir has developed many, I think we should all venture into this, and we should take all those measures, whatever sir has told. And it is extremely wonderful talk. I would congratulate Professor Sushil for this wonderful job. And I had an opportunity to attend one workshop at Chitkara University where I met him, because they have a very good journal also, which they are running successfully for the past many years. So many congratulations, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. And I'm also extremely thankful to the organizing team, Dr. Ujwal and Dr. Bunty, as well as all the other team members of biotechnology, to facilitate this workshop come seminar. Thank you all. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful encouragement. Sushil sir, we got a questions regarding today's seminar. That one question which came is that use of when we use other content in our slide for making our presentation, is it allowed or we have to do something precautionary measurement?
Can you repeat again?
Yes, sir. Yes, if we want to make a slide on a topic and we use the content of other to make our slide, so is it okay or we have to take some precautionary measurement?
You have to give the credit actually. One have to give the credits to the source. So one can basically, actually we are living into the knowledge society, knowledge world. And if we are talking about a specific domain or a specific area, so there limitations of the words we have to understand. We cannot create the words by ourselves. Words are, we have to use only the words which are available to define, to explain the particular thing. So we have to use the words. The thing is that we are using the content as it is, or we have just modified that content. That is the point. If you had modified the content, then you have to give the credit to the original source.
All right, sir. Sir, one question in extension of this is that it is okay to give the credit in form of the reference, or we should take permission of the original creator from the original creator.
This question related to the research publication actually. So if you are talking about to the research publication terms, then it is must to contact to the person, right? Either that is the editor or the publisher. But if you are talking about to the open educational resources, so as such there is no constraint from the SWAM side or any other platform. Those who are available with this theme of the open educational resources, open science. But problem is with the person, individual person, those who had created the content, then only you have to contact with the person.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for this query, answering this query. And now it's a time to wrap up the session. And before wrapping up this session, I would make a important announcement for our all participants that the link for the feedback will be shared to you all on the WhatsApp group as well as on your email given in the registration form. So please fill that feedback form, and those who will fill the feedback form, the certificate for this participation of the e-workshop will be delivered to their email address in a given time. So now I take this opportunity to thank you, sir. Thank you so much for taking out time from your busy schedule and enrich us with your knowledge and informations and experience. I also extend my thanks to the our director, Maharishi Markandeshwar Engineering College, Dr. Ashok Kumar, who is the director here, the head Department of Biotechnology, Dr. Anil Sharma, to always encourage us to do or organize such kind of educational events, which is basically useful not only for the faculty but also for the students. Secondly, I also thanks to the organizing team members from IAMBSS as well as at this Maharishi Markandeshwar University, Dr. Bunty Sharma, and the organizing team member from the IAMBSS. One more announcement I would like to make, that if any one of the participants would like to have take the membership of the society IAMBSS, they can visit their website, that is iambss.com. And today sir has made a different definition of IAMBSS to remember is I am boss, and just remove the O from this. So thank you so much, sir, for giving this new definition to IAMBSS.
Actually,
And
I remember your association by this way.
so it's a very creative and new idea for us also to get us remembered by others. So you can take the membership, and this organization in the Association of the Department of Biotechnology is continuously delivering such kind of knowledge to the participants and the audience with the guidance of our esteemed HOD, Dr. Anil Sharma. So lastly, I would like to thank all the participants to join us today and taking out their time. And I hope that you learned a lot from this workshop. And in the future, if it is required, then we will have a hands-on training of the details of how to develop the e-content and how to use all this software which is mentioned by today. Thank you all, and by this, I thank all of you and have a very good day. Thank you
Ujjwal
so
sir,
much.
there is one more request. Can you ask the audience to use the camera so you can take the screenshot, and I also.
Yeah, yes, thank you so, sir, for remembering this. I request all of you to please put on your camera so that we can have a group photograph here.
So I can also actually observe the people who.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Please, sir, take and.
So I can now see the so many faces which are known to me, even from the north region of the Kashmir. Dr. Shah, hope very good to see you.
Thank you, thank you.
He is my very good friend, and he is from now the state of the Kashmir. And there are
Yeah,
lots
thank
of,
you.
yes.
There are
You
7 pages, so keep patience. Please, I'm
Yes, yes. I just give me some time to take a photograph of all the 7 pages. So I request all of you to please on your camera. Yes. So a very huge response we got for this today, and as the society having the existence in the 18th state of India, so we in this workshop we are having members from all the 18 states and even more. Some of our members, the registered participant today is from the abroad also, and some of our members are okay. I am now taking page number 3. Please put on your camera. I request all of you. Yes, I am on page 4 now.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And I again request you to please fill the feedback form, which will be shared with you on your email as well as in the WhatsApp group, so that the attendance certificate will be delivered to you. And please make sure that you fill your correct email ID. So most of the email IDs are not being filled correctly, and that will be not be delivered. The certificate will not be delivered on that. Thank you so much.
Okay, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.